Jeannette Donofrio. Welcome. Thank you for being here with me. I am so excited to have you and talk with you and to hear you tell your story. So let's start it off by you sharing with us what it is that you do and who do you help?
Thank you so much, Jess. I really appreciate you. And yes, so my name is Jeanette, also known as Ms.FitVegan, and I help women to break their food addiction through a plant exclusive diet and also through the inner work, the challenging inner work that it takes to overcome years of shoving down emotions with food. And the reason I do this is because this is what I overcame. And it was something that I struggled with for so very long. And I feel strongly that I was called to do this. And that's why I had to struggle so that I was going to be able to help others get out of their struggle. So that's what I do.
Okay, so I have known you for I think 2 years now. And as long as I've known you, you've been eating only raw fruits and vegetables, mainly fruit, leafy greens. You always have a smoothie or a piece of fruit with you on hand, maybe in your purse. There you go. Energy blender. So I want to know, and I'm sure everyone else does too. Have, have you been eating this way forever? Like, how did this even start? How do you go? Like, it's not very common that you find someone in the world that only eats raw fruits and vegetables.
Yes. So this started in 2010. I went vegetarian because of a documentary called Food Inc. I just really wanted to lose weight, honestly. And I was willing to try anything. So I was like, okay, I'll try this vegetarian thing, see if I lose weight. And so I saw this documentary and it changed my life. I was never aware of animal cruelty until this documentary, and it really impacted me straight, like deeply on a deep level. And so I went vegetarian in 2010. And then, just like you, Jess, I'm a truth seeker. So I was just like coming into all these truths and getting all this information from the universe. And I found the raw vegan diet in 2011. And again, I had lost some weight going vegetarian, but I wanted to lose more and I really wanted to clear my skin. I had really bad cystic acne. And so I was like, okay, I'll try this raw vegan thing. I'm willing to try anything like you. Like, I'm willing to try anything, especially when I was suffering, when I was at a rock bottom. So I was depressed. I had really bad acne, and I wasn't feeling good at all. So I tried raw veganism, tried eating fruit and vegetables only, and it worked for me. And I've never looked back. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing for 12 years now. Fruit and veggies, nuts and seeds, that's it. Everything raw. And, it's not for everyone, but it's definitely for me. And I'll never go back. I'll never go back. And it is hard to find people like this. I don't have friends that eat raw. So, yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll talk about it in a minute, but it is definitely not socially available to be a raw vegan. It's not very socially acceptable. And so, yeah, it's not very common.
Yeah, wow. Okay, there is a lot in there that I want to
Yeah.
unpack. I'm glad you brought up your skin because I'm sure a lot of people listening to this right now probably want some skin advice. Yeah, okay. I suffered from acne and eczema and rosacea, all those things myself. And I've seen your skin in person. It is absolutely flawless.
Flawless.
And yeah, so
Thanks.
let's tell besides the diet, tell us all your secrets. What would be something that you could tell someone to help them that has acne right now?
Well, besides the diet, well, definitely the diet was the number one thing for me. Giving up dairy was super crucial. Giving up gluten and all these processed foods, it really, really helped me. Um, I have to say, I don't think I'd have really nice skin without colonics. I have to be honest
Mm,
because I was eating raw and my acne was getting worse, actually. And what was happening was all the toxins, all the antibiotics, all of the processed foods, the meat and the dairy, they were getting into my bloodstream. They were trying to get out, but they were trying to get out too fast. So I got a colonic a gravity method closed system colonic. Those are the ones that I recommend. And it changed my skin within 24 hours, Jess. Within 24 hours. And
Mhm.
maybe you have your own experience with your skin and colonics, but I couldn't believe it. My skin was always oily my whole life. And then once I got that colonic in 2011, my skin totally changed, and my acne scars, yeah, that took a few years to go away, but, yeah, I'm really grateful for this diet for so many reasons, and my skin is number 1 because I just feel so huh, I just feel so free now that I can just wake up and I don't have to worry about wearing makeup. I used to be so stressed about it. I used to not sleep over people's houses. I used to not hug people because I had so much makeup on that I was afraid I was going to get it on their shirt. And it was just so debilitating. And if anybody out there is suffering from acne, severe cystic acne, then they know. They know how hard it can be on our self esteem and it can really control our whole life. So I don't expect anybody who's not suffering to relate, but if somebody's out there and they know what it's like to have acne, they know how debilitating it can be. So colonics and the diet, and that's it. Nothing topical has ever worked for me ever. I tried Accutane, I tried Neutrogena, I tried all the things, a prescription and over the counter, and they never ever worked. Besides changing my diet, eliminating the foods that were causing my acne, and also detoxing by having multiple colonics.
Okay, I love everything you said. Our stories are so similar. Colonics, yes.
Mm.
I had a series of colonics and it transformed my skin. And I think a lot of people with skin issues have digestion issues. And that because a lot of, your skin is like your check engine light for your body, and it's just another pathway for toxins to come out of the body.
Oh,
So
I
if
need
they're
to write
not
that
coming
down.
out.
Your check engine light. Oh, that's so good.
So
Yeah.
if your toxins aren't coming out the way they're supposed to, which there's a few different pathways, you're either going to pee them out, poop them out, or they're going to come through your skin. And so if your digestion isn't working properly, then it's going to show up on your skin. So yeah, anyone that is suffering, we would both recommend getting
Mhm.
a colonic, and it might seem like it doesn't make sense because it's a different part of the body, but your digestion, if that's not working. I remember different health companies I worked for over the years. The number one question in health is typically, and I mean, if people know what they're doing, people ask, are you going to the bathroom daily?
Mm.
If you're not eliminating daily, then that's where you should look first if you're having any health issues. In my opinion, just speaking from my perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to note that all dis-ease starts in the colon. And so that's a great point, Jess, because many people are like, no, I want to treat my skin. I don't want to treat my butt. Or some people are going to the bathroom daily and they still have acne. And the issue is that there's an overload of undigested, decaying fecal matter in your colon, boo. And I'm just going to be honest, if you're if your
Mhm.
skin looks like shit, then you have a lot of shit in your colon. It is what it is. And we're here to help you. Make sure it's a closed system colonic, okay? And try it out. I'm telling you, it is so worth it. And my whole life changed when my skin changed because then I started having way more confidence. Okay, I know confidence is supposed to come from within, but the way you look, it matters because when you look good, you feel good. Okay, I'm not saying it's everything, but like the way we look matters. And so when I started having clear skin, I was able to do things that I was never able to do and get out there and meet other people and socialize and put myself online and try to inspire people. So I'm telling you, you've got to get this cleared up and colonics, they worked for both of us. So thousands of people I've connected with over the years. But then of course you need to stop eating the things that are causing the acne as well.
Yeah, as far as it helping with confidence and everything, the amount of women that I talk to that feel like they need to hide behind makeup or that they don't leave their house because, they feel like everyone's staring at their face, staring at their skin, and they can't even live a normal life or go do normal things every day that they want to do. So it's, yeah, like you said, it's debilitating. Um, yeah, so if you're on the fence or you're scared about trying a colonic, this is your sign, but this is not supposed to all be about colonics.
I
So,
want to say one more thing though, because
uh-huh.
it's so easy for us to look back and be like, yeah, your skin should not determine your self-esteem, you know? And now looking back, I can see that the things that I thought other people were saying about me were actually the things that I was saying about me. Like the things I
Mhm,
thought other people were thinking, like I was so ugly or, I had horrible skin or all these things. I was thinking those things. I
mhm.
was feeling those things. And now looking back, yeah, my skin doesn't determine my worth. But when you're a teenager, when you're in your 20s or 30s or whatever age you are, it's it's very hard to have acne and to not feel like you can just be yourself. You don't, hiding behind a mask, hiding behind makeup. It's so common, Jess. So that's a great point. And yeah, I would just urge everyone to look at their diet. I mean, there are some healthy things, Jess, that I can't eat. If I eat them, I'll break out. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
it's
you got to see
also
what works
very
for you. That's
right.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I highly recommend keeping a food journal because everybody is different and you really got to find out for yourself because
Yeah.
doctors and nutritionists and things they can't tell you what you should not what you should eat or what you can't eat.
Right.
Even like allergy test. I did different allergy tests, one with a doctor, one where I mailed in a small like little prick of, blood sample. And then I went to also an actual allergist where they did the test on the back and I got different results from every single
Mhm.
test. I mean, the only way I found out what was working for me was by keeping track and noticing myself and the changes that happen in my own body. So yeah.
Yeah, you just reminded me of my old life because when I was a teenager, I was always going to specialists. I had major digestive issues, so much pain. I was either constipated or had diarrhea. And you just reminded me that I did all these stool tests. I did the allergy test. I did so
Mhm.
much stuff. And like every doctor had a different protocol for me to follow. And
Yeah.
nothing ever really worked. Nothing worked. And trust me, guys, I tried everything. I went gluten free. I went vegetarian, like I said. I tried Atkins, which is now keto or carnivore or whatever. I tried all these things and none of them worked. And so when I found the raw vegan diet and it worked, I was like, well, I'm not gonna deviate from this. It's working for me. And like, listen, it's for you if you like it. If you're if you feel really good doing it and you love it, then do it. But raw is not for everyone because some people just don't want to be raw. So then it's not for you. So like, because people always ask me, they're like, do I have to be raw to heal? No, there's many ways to heal. Many, many ways.
Yeah. Going back to diet,
Yes.
what's the first thing that you changed in your diet? Or was it like an overnight and like what did you change from?
Okay. Well, my journey really started just when I was 14. I got a juicer because, like I said, I had really bad acne and I was trying to lose weight. And I was like, as I was coming into information, I was like, okay, I'll try this. So I got a juicer. I started juicing at 14. And then it was like this giant Jack LaLanne juicer. Oh my God, so big. And it was like a spaceship, space rocket thing, Okay, so I started then, and then I've had really bad health issues. And so when I was like 16 or 17, I started taking acidophilus by the recommendation of a doctor. And then I eventually went gluten free. Okay, so that was like the major thing in 2008. I remember the last muffin I had with gluten in it. I still remember it. And I went gluten free. And that was the beginning of me seeing a little bit of progress in my skin and a little bit of progress with my health. I was constantly I was fainting a lot. I was constantly getting
Oh,
infections. Yeah, I was fainting because I had really bad blood sugar issues. I was having really bad bronchitis constantly, lots of migraines, back pain. So many things. I was going to the ER all the time for different things. I remember, and like rashes and all these things. Okay, so I went gluten free, that helped. But when I went vegetarian for the animals. So I didn't really become healthy until I went raw. Because as a vegetarian, I was eating lots of peanut butter and jelly, lots of cereals, lots of gluten free cookies and cakes and candies. I wasn't focused on fruit and vegetables. I didn't really know the importance. until I went raw. So the first thing that changed when I went raw is everything. I went raw overnight. I went from junk food vegetarian to raw vegan in one day, because I'm just an Aries and I do it or I don't do it, all or nothing. I
Oh,
think you can probably relate, all or
yes.
nothing, all the Aries out there. And, listen, it was not the smartest way. It was not the smartest way. I know people that have transitioned to raw and it's taken them a year, and it's much smarter to do it like that because you want to slowly introduce, all raw foods and slowly release the foods that are not serving you. That's probably the best way to do it if you can do it that way. But my personality works all or nothing. So if I'm going to break my food addiction to things, I got to get them out of my house. I got to stop consuming them. And that's what I did. And I was like, okay, from here on out, my standards are fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. I'll eat any quantity I want. I'll eat as much as I want, whenever I want. I'm going to stick to this, see what happens. And it has served me greatly, over the past 12 years. And now I have the freedom that I always wanted. I have the health and the skin and I'm growing my hair now. I could never grow my hair, and I'm getting the body that I've always wanted. So I'm just going to stick to it forever.
Okay. Did I hear this correctly? You were 14 and you started juicing when you were 14.
Yes.
You were still eating a a junk food vegetarian diet,
No, I was eating a standard American diet and juicing.
standard American diet, and started juicing.
Because I thought it's what you add in that's going to help. But it
Okay, you
turns
thought it would
out, yeah,
offset the
yeah.
diet, the juicing
It
would.
turns out it's what you don't eat that heals you. And I didn't know that until I went raw.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I could see that. I've definitely done that in my life. Like, uh, I was drinking celery juice long before I changed anything else in my diet,
Yeah.
including drinking alcohol, going out on weekends and things like that. So I
The
thought the celery juice reversed it.
Yeah, there's lots of people taking vitamins and stuff, but you know what I see now was my mistake? I have a big sweet tooth, and I didn't know that to solve that, the solution is to eat fruit. I
Mm,
didn't know that. You don't when we know better, we can do better. And I just didn't know. I never met a raw vegan. I never heard of this craziness. And then what has really served me and helped me with my food addiction is to start eating lots of fruit. And that has helped me to get in the calories and to stop craving sweets, cookies and cakes and candies, these things that I could never stay away from as a kid. And now I don't even think about it because I'm full and satisfied from the fruit that I eat.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're craving sugar, your body's asking for fruit. That's the good
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope that somebody's listening to this that needs to hear this because I needed to know this. I really didn't put it together until I went raw.
I'm so glad you just said that because that brings me to another question I have for you.
Yeah.
What are some things that you learned during your healing journey that you wish someone would have told you in the beginning?
Oh my gosh. What are some things that I've learned? Well, I wish that I knew how important it was to deal with and feel my emotions. I was so focused on the food, the physical, that I never knew how important it was to deal with my feelings and feel them and express myself and go within and do the inner work that I now do with women. And, it's so hard for me to do this work. It's getting easier, because the more you do something, but like it's so hard for me to admit. It's hard for me to admit that I was wrong. It's not all about the food. And I thought it was. And it isn't. Food is I would say 50%. 50% of getting the body and the life and the skin of your dreams is the food. But the other 50% is how do you speak to yourself? What are your beliefs, your mind? It's so powerful. It's so
Mm,
powerful. I mean, everyone here listening has heard of the placebo effect. It's real. They have studies where they give 5 patients a placebo, like a sugar pill, and they give 5 patients the actual medication, and all 10 experience the healing or the symptoms of getting the medication. Like
mm.
it's literally because of our minds, and I didn't know that. And so I wish that I could go back and just like be open to the healing, talking about feelings, the affirmations, the self love, the things that I do now with my clients. I really wish that I was doing that in the beginning. Because, by the way, I went raw, but I still had my food addiction for years. For years. You can be raw with a food addiction. I was shoving dates like it was my job. I was just eating dates like I was, like I was dying. It was like my last day on earth. I would just
Mm.
eat until I was so bloated and so full. And that's because I was just like trying to not feel things. So yeah, that's definitely the biggest one.
Okay. I love that. I love that, especially the mindset piece, because yeah, our bodies don't know the difference between what we're imagining and what's real life. That's why our imaginations are so strong.
Uh-huh. One more thing.
Yeah.
I would tell myself, now you got me thinking about all the things. I would tell myself that you cannot be happy and healthy in a toxic relationship. Because I was raw vegan for 6 years in a toxic relationship. Okay.
Mm,
Almost 7 years. And like, I wasn't feeling good. Yeah, I was eating great. And yeah, my skin started to clear up. And yeah, I lost weight, but I wasn't sleeping good. I wasn't feeling good. I was grinding my teeth really bad at night. I was not having great digestion, and I wasn't the healthy person I am today. I didn't look like I look today. And that's because I was in a toxic relationship. If you have a toxic situation in your life, you can't expect to be healthy. You've got to remove yourself from that situation. And I
mhm.
didn't know that everything affects everything. So,
Yes, yes. I was in a similar situation. It wasn't a romantic relationship, but it was a relationship within a living environment that was toxic. And I was eating the same as I had been eating for months, and I was the healthiest I ever felt. But then all of a sudden, I wasn't anymore, and I had all these different issues as far as like bloating and my skin issues came back, and I, of course, looked at my diet because that's what people like you and I do when,
yeah.
we changed our diet and it helped alleviate all these things. That's the first place you generally look. But what you need to do, where you need to look first is your nervous system. If your nervous system isn't regulated, then it doesn't matter what you eat or don't eat. You're still going to suffer with health issues, unfortunately.
Listen, it makes sense that we're looking at the physical because it is a physical issue, right? Like our skin is bad, it's physical. Okay, what am I physically doing wrong? Okay, but like I'm grateful and lucky to my best friend. She is really focused on the non physical part of healing. And that has served me so much. And I know that there's no coincidences. And I know the universe put me in her life and her in my life to help me know that there's actually other reasons why we suffer. Okay. There's other things going on. It's not just all about the food. Okay. And like, I mean, it's amazing how some people get it with the food and don't get it with the emotions, and then some people get it with the emotional body and they don't get it with the physical body. So,
Yeah.
like, we're in our each other's lives for a reason. Like, everybody listening to this, something that somebody else needs. That's why I recommend everyone get out there, put your message out there, start a podcast, write your book. You know things that other people don't know. And
Mm.
so, and remember, we need to be reminded of things more than we need to learn. So, like maybe somebody knows something, but they're not going to take action until they hear it like 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So, yeah, I really recommend everybody puts their message out there because I'm still learning myself how to feel things. I just grew up in a way that I was shoving everything down with food. I was using food to deal with stress and to deal with anger and to deal with sadness. And now I'm learning how to cry and how to be angry and how to set my boundaries and express myself. And it's helping me so much with my physical, like you were saying, Jess, like with my body, and my hair's finally growing and my skin is really clear now. And that has nothing to do with the food. I've been eating this way for 12 years. Why would I be, it's because I'm putting everything together, the wheel, the holistic wheel of health.
Yeah, like you're saying with the emotions, when we don't let ourselves express the emotions, when we suppress them, we repress them, and we
Mm,
don't let them come out, that's how they manifest into physical ailments. And
yeah.
yeah, that's just such a huge part of it that can't be emphasized enough, because we're taught by society in so many different ways that we don't even recognize because it's just so quote unquote normal, whether it's a
Mhm.
TV show or a movie or an ad or commercial or anything. everything is training us to suppress emotions, to cover our face up with makeup. I even came across a blog article the other day that was titled "How to Hide Acne with Your Makeup."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like we're, people need to share their messages about, like this, so that people can find out, because it's not widespread news out there.
Yeah, and that's like a big reason why people can't stick to a healthy diet. It's because they're always focusing just on the diet. That's something else I learned. Like
Mm,
I was coaching people for years, since 2017 I've been coaching, and it was all about the diet. And like then I realized, well, people know what to do. Why aren't they doing it? Well, because it's subconscious, because it's deeper than that. It's like there's a reason why, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love, as my mentor, Brad Yates, always says.
I like that.
And it's because we're trying to keep ourselves safe. We're trying to do what we've always done because it's safe. Even though we don't want what we've always had, we don't want to be overweight, we don't want to struggle with food, but like it's safer than the unknown. It's safer than feeling. And unfortunately, to heal, we have to feel. And we have to do that inner work that sucks. And it's so worth it though. It's so worth it. Like you, Jess, like I know you would agree that, okay, yeah, it would be great to like eat all the foods that everybody eats and not suffer, but like that doesn't happen. We
Mhm,
do suffer. We do have headaches. We do get stomach issues and we will gain weight and we will have bad skin. So like I look at it logically now. I'm just like, yeah, it would be great to eat all those things, but I don't want to suffer. So I'm just going to eat for the way I want to feel.
mhm,
And it's like that's what we have to do with this inner work too. Yeah, it would be great to not have to deal with it, but then we're not going to ever get what we want in life. We're not going to feel good. We're not going to have peace within our mind, body, and spirit. We're not going to get to our goals. We've got to do the work. We've got to do the deep diving work into the things we don't want to feel, we don't want to think about. That's
mhm.
running the show.
Oh my
So,
gosh, what you're saying right now, like, is so profound because oh, hold on, it's coming back to me. The connection, like what the food tells our bodies is explaining, it's a message to us. So if we feel like crap after we eat something, we're not going to be able to feel and sense other things. We have intuition, we have all these other senses that are not tangible. We cannot thrive, we cannot be our best selves, we cannot succeed and do what we want to accomplish in this world unless we are fully aligned. And we can't be that way if we're putting garbage in our bodies, if we're putting things in our bodies that don't belong there. It's like putting the wrong gas in your car. You're not going to go to the gas station and put diesel in your car. I keep using these car metaphors, but it's making
that's
sense.
why I
I
didn't know
hope.
about the check engine light because I don't drive. So I've never
Yeah.
heard that before, but now
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't, it's just like with drugs and alcohol, like how you said, yeah, would we like to be able to eat whatever and feel great? Yeah, but I mean, same with like drugs and alcohol. Like everyone can't do that and feel great. It's certain foods are drugs because I mean, we have foods in America that are not even legal in other states. For example, Doritos, because of certain chemicals that they use in them to get people addicted to them. And I'm going on a passionate tangent right now, but
Yeah, well, it's important. It's really
yeah,
important stuff.
yeah, that's basically, yeah.
That's the thing is that I think nobody wants to eat unhealthy, but it's like it seems so hard. It seems so hard and it's not convenient and it's like you get like then you're not going to be with your friends and family because that's a big bonding thing is food and then you're going to be ostracized and you're going to be lonely and alone and it is hard. Yes, it is hard to be healthy, but isn't it hard to be sick? Isn't it hard to
Mm,
be overweight? Isn't it hard to suffer from acne? Isn't it hard to be tired all the time? Isn't it hard to feel like a failure? Like I always remind people, yeah, it's hard to be raw sometimes. I mean, the more you listen, after doing it for 12 years, it's not hard at all. But in the
mm,
beginning, yes, it is hard, but you're going to have to choose which hard you want. And most people are unconsciously choosing the hard of suffering, health issues, diseases, acne. And it's like, well, you and I, Jess, we've just been blessed. I don't know why, but we've been blessed to wake up to the choice of, okay, I'm going to choose the hard of having to prep my own food and prioritizing and spending a little more money on food and getting a juicer and spending that time doing that instead of spending that time, scrolling or whatever, like we've taken the
Mhm.
time and we've realized, okay, it's hard, but I'm choosing this hard because I don't want that hard anymore. And it's because we've experienced both hards. So now we know,
Mhm.
okay, it's actually easier to take care of myself. It's easier to choose those right foods. And I feel like people got to hit rock bottom. I'm sorry, but like all the people that have been successful, most of them that I've helped go raw or get healthy, they've hit a rock bottom. And that's the
Mhm.
best place you can be. So if you're listening to this or you're watching this and you're at a serious rock bottom, there is absolutely nowhere to go but up from there. So understand that this is the biggest blessing of your life to hit this rock bottom. That's how I changed. That's probably how Jess changed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how people change when they have to. When it's more painful, it's harder to stay the same than it is
Mhm.
to change.
But imagine if you didn't have to do that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right.
if someone came to me though and tried to get me to change before I hit my rock bottom, I wouldn't have listened. I feel like times are changing a little bit more now though. I see more and more people kind of jumping on the health train.
I think because things are getting really bad. Like
Yeah.
things are getting worse and worse because they're making the food worse and worse for us. People are suffering earlier and earlier. I heard that the average age of a child that gets diabetes is age 8, like 8 years old.
Wow.
Children are getting diabetes now and having heart issues. And it's like, well, you know what? You just like said something. And I thought to myself, what if I never changed? I thought you were going to ask me that. What if I never changed? What would I be doing now?
Where would
What would
you
I
yeah, where would you be now if you didn't change?
Jess, I swear I would not be on earth. I'm telling you right now. No
Mhm.
way, because I was so depressed. I was suicidal. I was overweight. I was just I just didn't want to live. I was at a place where I was suffering physically,
Mhm.
mentally, spiritually, and I don't think I'd be here, or I'd definitely be on drugs, be a drug addict or an alcoholic at this point, or maybe just binging on food still, but I would have severe health issues. I actually went to a doctor once, or like he was like a holistic doctor, and he said, thank God you went raw because, your nervous system is so tight and so messed up that if you were not healthy, if you were not eating healthy, you would have had parts of your intestines removed by now. And he's Tony Robbins chiropractor. So, like, he's experienced and he's like a very world renowned physician. And he told me that. And I was like,
Oh
whoa, that
gosh.
scared me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I can second that. I wouldn't be on this planet anymore, or at least in this lifetime, if I had not changed my way of living.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, we change when we have to. Um,
Yeah.
that was really great. I have
You're really great.
no, you are.
I'm so
I
happy we're here, Jess. I'm so happy we're still here on Earth, seriously. And I'm so
yeah.
grateful we made the choices that we made. And they were not easy, guys. They were not, it's not always going to be easy. It's not supposed to. Because,
Mm,
sorry, Jess, I don't want to cut you off, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. And everybody is not being healthy and feeling good and looking good and living the life that they want and having freedom of their bought from their, health issues and diseases. So like please understand that I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's hard. I'm saying it's hard, but it's worth it. And you can do it for sure. If Jess and I can do this, you can do this.
One thing that you just said, I don't think a lot of people realize is being healthy and being and like looking good or being attractive, feeling attractive, they go hand in hand. And you don't necessarily like when you're going for one, like when you're trying to be healthy, you're not really trying to be attractive. But when you are healthy, everyone is inherently attractive. I believe that when people are healthy, they're attractive. So if I feel like if more people knew that, then they would want to make more health conscious choices. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that JLo is a raw vegan. I've always thought this. She's never going to say it because it's not acceptably, like, it's not mainstream, but I believe she's like at least 90% raw, personal opinion. But, because it's just like she looks so good and she looks so healthy. And I'm just like, what were you going to say?
I did read somewhere once about her diet, and she said that she does eat mainly a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, and she does eat some meat.
Yeah, she's probably like 90% raw. I'm serious because you can't look like that and not be healthy. And you're right. And you know what? That's so true. Like people are trying to buy the quick fix and all the makeup and all the things that society tells us. But the truth is that you are what you eat. You're going to look like the things you eat. You eat things that are in a bag, potato chips, bread, pasta, these bland looking dry things. Like think about pasta before you make it. It's so dry. It's not even food. I can't believe I used to eat this stuff that's not even food. It was like plastic, you make the necklaces out of it when you're in kindergarten, and we eat this stuff, pasta and stuff. And so I just want you guys to know that, yeah, you're absolutely right, Jess. Like the more beautiful foods you eat, the more beautiful you become. And the more beautiful you start to see yourself as. Like I truly never thought I was beautiful until I went raw, and then I started seeing myself differently, and I started seeing, I'm not the most beautiful person in the world, but I am beautiful, and it's crazy that I would say that because back in the day I would never ever say that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
self-love is definitely part of it because I don't think either of us had it before, and it becomes part of the journey. But I would like to circle back since we talked about pasta for a moment. Um,
I'm Italian, so that was like my thing.
yeah, and I mean, okay, so I want to circle back to the beginning when we talked about listening to your body and trying different foods out for yourself and seeing what agrees with you, what doesn't, what gives you different reactions. Because I know people that are some of the healthiest people I know, they eat pasta.
Mm,
And I mean, they don't have any health issues. They're beautiful, they're in shape. And there's people out there eating all kinds of different foods that look a certain way and they are healthy. So I think it really depends on the person. So I mean, if you're eating pasta, I basically would just say if you're eating other things, maybe give up other things first. And then, you know, I would say maybe like gluten, you and I both gave up gluten first.
yeah, I would say they're looking good and feeling good so far, but like health cannot come. Like health is a side effect of eating healthy. And I mean, yeah, sure, there's healthier versions. Like there's chickpea pasta and lentil pasta. Okay, that's way healthier, right? But like, I don't think it's possible to be really healthy and feel good for a sustainable amount of time not eating a healthy diet, healthy lifestyle. And healthy to me means food that is alive. Pasta is dead. So, me personally, yeah, people can go a certain amount of time because the body is just an absolute incredible machine that is self-healing, self-regenerating, and can withstand anything. Like we can eat anything, but we do suffer. There's always a side effect to every single thing, as you know. You're one of my few friends that like really does know the value of what we're eating, the information that's in there, the result of the the ingredients in foods. And so
Mhm.
many people are just like eating things and they're like, well, it's for sale, so it must be legal. And it's like there are so many things out there that should be illegal. Okay. All these things I see in Walgreens, it's just like not food. And it's so scary that people eat these things. And there's a
Yeah.
side effect to every single one. Every single ingredient that you eat that you don't know what it is, there is a side effect happening. Why do you think so many people go to the doctor and the doctor's like, I don't know what's wrong with you? Like, have you ever heard that, Jess? I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they don't study nutrition and they don't know what the side effects are of all these weird, crazy ingredients. And so, of course, like so many people are confused as to what's wrong with them. Well, I'm telling you right now what's wrong with you. It's the food you're eating, it's the crazy chemicals, the toxins, all these dead foods, all these foods that are just like not foods, they're food like substances. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. And it's not the doctor's fault. There's no conspiracy. The thing is that doctors just don't know. They are glorified prescription pill representatives. Like they're glorified pharmaceutical representatives. That's my opinion, because they go to school to study what drug to prescribe.
I have a slightly different perspective on doctors just because they go to school and they're taught what they're trained to be taught. They don't control, what they're taught.
Right.
I know a lot of doctors now have broken out of, the whole system and started their own thing because they have studied nutrition on their own, and they, decided that they
Yeah.
found the better, higher path, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I just discovered this guy, Bobby Price. I just discovered him, and he quit his job as a doctor because he found out the truth that what you eat is like really important, and they don't teach you that in medical school. They teach you how to prescribe drugs. So yeah, there's a lot of great doctors that are broken free from the paradigm of what they're teaching.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they believe what they're taught. They couldn't
Mhm.
write prescriptions and, take patients on, a lot of them, if they didn't truly believe that what they were doing was helping and is the answer.
Mhm.
Of course, there's always going to be the good and the bad and, the contrast out there, but I think overall they're trained, we're like
Yeah.
most of the world, we're just trained from the moment we're born and given a social security number.
Yeah, that's true. I was trained too. And in many ways, we're still unlearning everything we were trained just
Yeah,
as kids,
yeah.
like what girls do, what boys do, what we should look like, what we shouldn't look like, things we should eat, things we shouldn't eat, things we should say, all these things. All these things are just things we have to unlearn. And I'm still unlearning for sure.
We're tiptoeing down a rabbit hole right now. I'm gonna stop us. But I do have a final question for you.
Oh, I heard
And
this is good. I heard this is gonna be good.
I might have you might have feel like you've already answered this, but this is a question I ask everybody at the end. And it is, what is your number one health tip? This could be mindset, diet and nutrition, physical, emotional, just the one piece of advice that you would like everyone to know.
I love this question. Okay. My number one health tip is to find out why you are here. Find out why you are here on earth. Because, and I'll teach you how to do that in a second, but when you tap into your passion and your life purpose, your health will automatically improve. Your mindset will improve, your choices will improve because you're not just living for yourself anymore. When you find out why you were born, you have a purpose, you have a passion, you have a reason for really, really making a difference here. You have a reason for being here that's much bigger than you. And so then that helps me personally to take care of myself better because I got to take care of myself if I want to live out my life purpose. I got to make sure I'm healthy and happy and energetic in order to inspire people to eat more fruit so they could be extra cute. So now, if you don't know why you're here, then I would recommend everybody ask themselves the question, if I could give one gift to every child in the world, what would it be? If you could give one gift to every child in the world, what would it be? And so, whatever you answer that question, whatever's your answer, that's tied to your life purpose. Obviously, Jess, I would say I would give them a box of tropical fruit. Obviously,
Oh,
like, yeah, what would you do? I'm switching the question around on yo as.
no.
If you could give one gift to every child in the world, what would it be? Whether that's, some type of knowledge, some type of advice, or a physical gift.
Oh man, so anything, huh? When you first asked the question and without knowing this beforehand, without thinking about it, my first thought was a piece of paper and like a box of crayons or like a pencil or
Mm-hmm.
something,
Mm-hmm.
because the imagination, and then they can, write, draw, design, whatever comes out. So that was the first thing that popped in my mind. But since advice is also, I don't know, if it's a child, I don't think they're gonna listen if you try to give them advice.
Right. So, yeah, and that's like, okay, another question is like, what do you think is the number one problem with the world today? Focus and explore that question. What do you think is the most important thing that needs to change in the world? Like, what's the biggest problem with the world? And it's always everybody I ask that question to, it's always tied to why they're here. Because so many people are like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I don't know. And it's like, well, listen, nobody knows. We're creating, we're deciding. It's just like eating healthy. Nobody's like gonna just automatically eat healthy, if they've been eating unhealthy for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they're going to make a decision and they're going to go with it. And if you feel better, keep doing it. If it doesn't work for you, try something else. And so that's what I say about your life purpose too. And I think that's the most important thing, that has to do with health, is find out why you're here and live your life on purpose, with a purpose.
I would have to agree with that, and I would add to it, um, people living in fear.
Hmm.
I think, most of the planet is living in fear, and that might be number 1 or number 2 thing that would need to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
can't
And
you can't be in love and fear at the same time.
yeah, I always like to tell myself that you can't be negative and grateful at the same time. So like whenever I'm feeling negative, I start writing a top 10 reasons why I'm grateful, like things that I am grateful for. Cause it's like, well, if I'm negative, if I'm focusing on that, I'm just going to attract more things to be negative. But if I just quickly write a gratitude list, I'm going to just see everything that's amazing in my life and I'm just going to attract more of that. And so that's why I love hanging out with you, Jess, and talking to you, because you know about this stuff and you're open to this stuff and you know it's real. Like, you know that the mindset is so key to our life. And so many people still don't know it, which is crazy to me, but people don't realize they're actually in control of their life. They're in control. And every thought you think, every word you say, everything you eat, this is all creating your future. So what kind of future do you want? A positive, healthy, bright, beautiful future, or a dead pasta, gluten filled, no, just kidding. Negative future. Just kidding.
Ask your body, everyone. Your body knows what it wants.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And thank you everyone for listening and joining us. I hope that you were able to take something away from this. And I will talk to you soon.
Bye.